Okay, so welcome back. Um, this is a little bit of something I discovered on Google Earth last night, actually. So I presented this in the class today. Um, but what I found out was that if you go to Google Earth and open a new project, that you can click here. I hope that shows up on the screen. It should be. It says hide. You can either hide or show historical imagery. So what it does is it allows you to look at aerial photos over time. So what I pulled up here was a region of southern West Virginia that extends, almost from Charleston down to Pineville or so, and then over towards eastern Kentucky as well. I picked this because I know that this area has been heavily surface mined. Um, but what I want to do is go back and look at how this area has changed over time. So I 1985 is available. That's the year I was born, so I picked it. It goes back to 1984, but I think that's about it. Um, so what you can see here, this was the extent of surface mining in the region in 1985. Uh, there is some here in Warden. There's, you know, decent bit of activity, a lot over here in eastern Kentucky. 5 years, and it takes a minute to update. Um, but you can see that it's difficult to tell, but there has obviously been more mining since then. Uh, and the next time we'll go to 1995, significantly more surface mining. And now we're starting to get into an era where we can get much larger equipment, and we start having larger and larger surface mines. Let's move on to 2000. You can see a bit's changed. The extent of mining is probably similar, okay? But some of these areas that were mined before, you can now see are starting to turn green. They've been reclaimed, right? And then let's move another 5 years. Now we're getting in towards close to what I think was the peak of mountaintop removal in southern West Virginia in these early or like mid 2000s or so, and then it's been declining since. But you can see here now we're getting into like large areas of open surface mines. Move on to 10. This area has changed. Lots of these other, especially the eastern Kentucky stuff, it's all getting greener. So that's all was mined out, prior to now, and it's all it's all been reclaimed since 2015. Um, Colors change a little bit on the maps here and there, but you can tell that some of these areas are getting smaller, right? And then 2020, we're basically at the same where we were before in 2015. Not a whole lot of change from what you can see on the map, at least. And that brings us up to close to where we are today. Uh, that's as close as we can get it to now. Okay, so that's one thing that I looked at last night to just see where the extent of surface mining in this area and what had become of it. Another thing I want to show you is the aerial views of, I believe this was the Hobet number 3 mine, and it's up here, kind of before you. I don't have to get the model. It's just up the road right here, and let me find it. There's some surface mining over there, but what I'm looking for is right here, I believe. This looks flat, and this here's a valley fill. So let's go back in time and experience what this looked like. If we go to 1985, this is very hard to view. These were some of the earlier strip mines in the region. You can see out here to the left, it's blurry, but you can tell that all of this has been contour mined, okay? All of it's contoured, and then there's some contour mining going on over here. Let's bump ahead to 1990 and let that reload. Maybe it will today. Or maybe it won't. Boom, 2003. Now you can clearly see where mining has occurred, okay? In this region. Let's see if we can go back to 90 again, though. Okay, 1990. Now we can really tell. Here's the big valley fill here. And then there's another small one here. And you've got another one on this side. This whole area, mountaintop removed, all valley fill here too. But this, you can see it from Route 19. Okay, and actually, the next time I go up that way, I'll take a photo of it. That way, you can see what it looks like today. But so this valley fill has been in existence for a very long time. You know, over 50 years, right? Wait, did I do that math right? No, I didn't. 35 years. And maybe even before that, not in 1985, but in 1990 for sure, it's in existence already. Now, I remember when I was a kid driving through here, you know, and basically, you know, that this was just grass. They had planted, grass on here, you know, the various grazing grasses for post mining land use, the way you get hydro seeded. That's what they put on here, and that's what I remember as a kid. But now you go there, and send the call. It always tries to get me to exit the call. I don't know why that is. Google Meet. Anywho, so I remember this as a kid, and this was, as far as I know, the first, if not one of the first, mountaintop removal jobs in the state of West Virginia. And this gives us an idea of what things like that might look like in 35 years' time, right? So as we progress, we can get up here. This is when I graduated high school. Now they're done mining. Everything's green up there. It's all been reclaimed to the plan that they had. Jump ahead a bit more. Let's go to 2000 and 4 more years later. So that's a better photo. Okay, that's a lot clearer image of the things that are starting to grow here. You've got trees that are growing on the drainage ditches along the face of that, and then that's pretty bad. That's pretty good. But now look at this. So now we're moving on to 2011. Now you can see shrubs and stuff popping up here all over the place, right? Let's hit up 16. Yeah, much better. This can tell us it's in the fall of the year. There's no leaves on it, or winter. There's no leaves on the trees. Well, I say that, but all this is green too. I don't know what's going on. They also put a tower up here too in that meantime. All right, let's get on closer to now. Now you see that it's getting a lot of more vegetation on top. The valley fields are covered. I mean, they're covered in trees now. And then we go to 23, which is as close as we can get. And that's what this mountaintop removal job now looks like today. Now, like I said, that's been a minimum of 35 years since the mining was completed here. Okay. The other thing I wanted to look at, we'll turn this off for a minute and show you all, is the progression of the mining at the Bingham Canyon mine out in near Salt Lake City here. So we're going to zoom in on this. This is the largest surface mine in the world, as I mentioned in the course lecture. But let's look at how things have changed for a while. This mine has been here a long time, and so these photos go all the way back to 1970. So let's see what we have. That is not good at all. But you can see that the mine already, it existed in 70. And then by 84 or 5, it is expanded quite a bit. This area, and of course, the pit has become much deeper. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go to 1990. A little bit more expansion. 95, a little bit more. 2000, 2005, and you can see how the shape of the pit changes. 2010, moving around a little bit. 15, so you see a whole lot here, and then you have a lot of material out here from that's come out of the hole, and that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we get to the most recent images that we have. This imagery currently is so good. I mean, you can zoom right in on these places, and this is showing some of their structures and processing equipment and that sort of thing here. We can also zoom out and see some of the equipment. You've got an excavator digging here at this moment when this was taken. The unloader is loading out here. Let's see if we can find a truck or something, or a big shovel maybe. Where are they mining at? I think let's look coming up the road. That might be a good idea. There's something. I can't tell what that is. It might be. Is that a drill? I'm not. Wait a minute. No. There's something else there too, but I can't exactly tell what they're doing there. Come over here. There's an excavator there, unloader there. You've got the power running across here. Those are drills, I believe, and I believe they're drills because of the shadow that's being cast from the mast. Drills, so they're drilling that. It looks like you can't see any holes, but that's a dozer. That's a dozer. There's a truck. There's trucks. Yeah, yeah. The beds just looked all. The beds just look all shiny, probably because they're getting hit by rocks a lot. But the trucks they run here are the Komatsu 930s. There's some. So there's a 320 ton capacity trucks. They also weigh about 320 tons. When you get them loaded, you're looking about 620 to 640 tons total weight. So you actually have to design pretty substantial roads, for these trucks to run on. You want very hard packed, large material to build the base of your road for these vehicles. They're just so heavy. Trying to look in on maybe some of the areas that may have slid. The visitor center is somewhere on this rim. Is it up here? No, I'm not 100%. Oh, right there's where you enter at. So it's here somewhere, and then at one point that did slide there, so they had a major collapse of this of the slope, right? But because they, like I said, because they monitor it so much with lidar and stuff, they knew it was going to happen, so they just got everybody out and let it happen. And they moved all their equipment all the way across the pit, and the amount of material that came off in that slide was enough that it went all the way across the pit, still buried up the equipment. They had to go back in and dig everything out. So, but as of the last time I was there, they're back in business. They got a new visitor center constructed. You can go there if you want, if you're ever out in the Salt Lake region. Okay, so that's kind of all I wanted to show with the Google Earth, but we might be using, well, we'll probably definitely be using this more in the future, and other, sources as well online for, more modern ways to just kind of visualize, uh, mining across not just the country, but the world as well. So check that out at some point if you want, and see you next time.